Picture yourself standing at the edge of the grandest canyon you've ever seen. The sun is setting, painting the sky in brilliant hues of orange and purple. Your heart races as you look down at the magnificent depth below. That flutter in your stomach, that quickening of your pulse, is it fear or excitement? Or, you see, that's exactly how love feels. That exact same sensation. And here's the profound truth that many of us miss. Fear and love are two sides of the same coin. They both make our hearts race, our palms sweat, and our minds spin with possibilities. The only difference is the story we tell ourselves about what those sensations mean. Right now, somewhere in your life, you're standing at the edge of your own emotional canyon. Maybe it's that person you see every day but haven't had the courage to talk to. Maybe it's the relationship you're in where you're afraid to be fully vulnerable. Or perhaps it's the love you're holding back from yourself, trapped behind walls built from past hurts and disappointments. How many moments of potential love have you let slip through your fingers because fear whispered in your ear? How many connections have you missed because you were too busy protecting yourself from what might go wrong instead of opening yourself to what could go right? We've all been there. In fact, right this moment, millions of people around the world are choosing fear over love. They're choosing the safety of their emotional fortress over the vulnerability of authentic connection. They're choosing the known pain of loneliness over the unknown possibility of joy. It's not trying to protect you. It's trying to preserve you. Like a photograph, frozen in time, never changing, never growing, never truly living. Fear wants to keep you exactly as you are, in a perfectly preserved state of emotional suspension. Is that really living? Think about a garden. If you're afraid of weeds, you might never plant anything at all. Your garden stays perfectly clean and perfectly empty. No mess, no maintenance, no disappointment, but also no flowers, no fragrance, no beauty, no life. That's what happens when we let fear stop us from loving. You might be thinking, but you don't understand. I've been hurt before. And you're right. You have been hurt. We all have. Every single person listening right now carries scars from past loves, past vulnerabilities, past moments when they dared to open their heart. Those scars are not stop signs. They're badges of courage. They're proof that you were brave enough to love once, and you can be brave enough to love again. Love isn't about avoiding pain, so it's about being willing to risk it for something greater. It's about understanding that the same heart that can break is also the one that can expand beyond what you ever thought possible. Your capacity for love isn't diminished by past hurts. It's enlarged by them. Remember when you learned to ride a bike? You probably fell. You probably got scraped knees and bruised elbows. But did those falls mean you were bad at riding a bike? No. They meant you were learning. They meant you were growing. They meant you were brave enough to keep trying until balance became second nature. The same is true with love. Those past heartbreaks, they weren't failures, they were practice. They were teaching you balance, the balance between giving and receiving, between vulnerability and boundaries, between holding on and letting go. But somewhere along the way, many of us learned to interpret emotional risk as danger. We began to see vulnerability as weakness rather than what it truly is, the ultimate form of courage. We started building walls instead of bridges, collecting regrets instead of memories, choosing the certainty of emptiness over the possibility of fulfillment. Let me share something powerful with you. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Every person you've loved, every heart that's touched yours, Abby, even briefly, was part of your journey, even the ones who left, especially the ones who left. They were all teachers, showing you different facets of your own capacity to love. Think about water for a moment. When water meets an obstacle, it doesn't stop flowing. It doesn't build a wall. It doesn't retreat. It finds a new path. It transforms, it adapts. Sometimes it even carves through solid rock, not through force, but through gentle, persistent flow. That's what love is meant to be. Not a fortress to hide in, but a river to flow with. Your fear tells you that love is dangerous because it might not last forever. But nothing lasts forever. Not fear, not pain, pile on top of love. Pure love, the simple act of opening your heart to another being, has never hurt anyone. It's our resistance to love's natural flow that causes pain. Your past experiences with love are like weather patterns. They can predict tendencies, but they don't determine the future. Just because it rained yesterday doesn't mean it will rain today. Just because love brought pain before doesn't mean it will bring pain now. Each moment is new. Each opportunity for love is unique. Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready for love, that you need more time, more healing, more preparation. But ready is not an emotion. It's a decision, and that decision doesn't come from feeling safe. It comes from deciding that love is worth the risk. You've been carrying around memories of past hurts like heavy stones in your pockets. Every step is harder because of this weight. What if, just for a moment, you set down that burden, not to forget it? Those stones shaped you, taught you, made you, but to realize you don't need them anymore. You've learned their lessons. You can move forward lighter, wiser, more open. There's a difference between being wounded and being aware. Being wounded means letting past hurts determine your future. Being aware means letting past experiences inform your choices while staying open to new possibilities. Which one are you choosing? Your heart isn't meant to be a fortress. It's meant to be a garden. Yes, with fences to protect it, but with gates that open. A place where love can take root and grow. Where mistakes become fertilizer for new growth. Where weeds of fear can be acknowledged and gently removed. Every person you meet is fighting their own battle between love and fear. Every single one. That person who hurt you, they were afraid too. That relationship that ended. It was fear on one side or both that ended it, not love. Love doesn't end. It transforms. When you choose fear over love, you're not just saying no to potential pain. You're saying no to potential joy, growth, connection, wonder. You're saying no to parts of yourself you haven't met yet. You're saying no to the person you could become through love. Think of your life as a book. Fear wants to keep rereading the chapters where you got hurt, using them as evidence for why you should stop reading altogether. But love wants to turn the page. Love knows that the best chapters might still be unread. Your capacity for love isn't diminished by the times you've been hurt. If anything, it's expanded. Like a muscle that grows stronger through resistance, your heart grows more capable through every experience, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones. What would change in your life if you decided right now that love is worth the risk? What would be different tomorrow if you went to bed tonight choosing courage over comfort? What conversations would you have? What chances would you take? What walls would you begin to lower? The truth is, fear of love is often just fear of change disguised, because real love changes us. It has to. You cannot open yourself to love and remain the same person. But isn't that exactly why we're here? Not to stay safe within the confines of who we've been, but to grow into who we could be. Have you ever noticed how the things we're most afraid of are often the things we most deeply want? That's not a contradiction. It's a signpost. Your fear is actually pointing you toward your growth, toward your destiny, toward love. But somewhere along the way, we started reading the signposts backwards. Right now, in this very moment, countless opportunities for love are passing by like clouds in the sky. Some are subtle, a chance to share a kind word, to extend forgiveness, to be vulnerable. Others are profound, a chance to change someone's life, to heal a relationship, to begin a new chapter. But fear keeps our eyes down. Focus on the solid ground of what we know rather than the vast sky of what could be. You might believe you're waiting for the right time to open your heart. But time doesn't make us ready for love. Love makes us ready for love. It's like learning to swim. No amount of standing at the edge of the pool will prepare you as much as simply getting in the water. Let me tell you something powerful about the heart. It has an infinite capacity for love. It's not like a cup that can be emptied or a resource that can be depleted. The more love you give, the more capacity for love you create. Fear tells us to conserve our love, to save it, to protect it, but love doesn't work that way. Love multiplies through division, grows through giving, expands through sharing. Think about the most meaningful moments in your life, the times that truly mattered. Were they times when you played it safe, or were they times when you took a risk, when you opened your heart, when you chose love despite your fear? I'm willing to bet it was the latter. Your fear has been a faithful servant, trying to keep you safe. But at some point, the servant became the master. The voice meant to warn you of genuine danger became the voice that warns you away from life itself. It's time to thank your fear for its service and gently retire it from duties it was never meant to perform. Here's a truth that fear doesn't want you to know. You've already survived every single thing you were afraid of up until this point. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every loss. Not just surviving, but capable of sitting here right now contemplating love. That's not weakness. That's incredible strength. Consider the metaphor of a tree in a storm. The trees that survive aren't the ones that resist the wind. They're the ones that bend with it. Your heart is meant to be flexible like that. Not rigid with fear, but supple with love. Strong enough to endure, flexible enough to grow, deep-rooted enough to stay true to who you are. What would it feel like to wake up tomorrow morning and know that you're not going to let fear make any decisions for you that day? What would it feel like to respond to every situation with the question, what would love do here? Not naive love, not blind love, but wise love. Love that has learned from experience but hasn't been defeated by it. You see, every time you choose fear over love, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. A world of walls or a world of bridges, a world of closed doors or a world of open hearts, a world where safety is the highest value, or a world where growth and connection and authenticity are what matter most. Perhaps you're thinking, but I built these walls for a reason. They've protected me, and yes, they have. Those walls served a purpose. They kept you safe when you needed safety, but walls that shelter can also imprison. At some point, protection becomes limitation. The truth about love that fear doesn't want you to know is love is not just an emotion. It's a way of being in the world. It's not just something we feel. It's something we do. It's how we choose to show up, how we choose to respond, how we choose to live. Every interaction you have is an opportunity to choose love over fear. The way you talk to yourself in the mirror, the way you respond to a mistake, yours or someone else's, the way you handle disappointment, the way you greet uncertainty. And these aren't just choices. They're practice. Practice for the bigger moments when love and fear stand in stark contrast, asking you to choose. What if the love you're looking for isn't something to find, but something to unveil? What if it's already there within you, waiting for you to clear away the debris of fear that's been piled on top of it? Like a sculpture waiting to be revealed from a block of marble. Your capacity for love is already complete. It just needs to be uncovered. Your fear will tell you that you need certain conditions to be met before you can love fully, that you need guarantees, assurances, certainties. But love is never waited for perfect conditions. Love creates its own conditions. Love transforms the ground it touches. Think about a time when you regretted not expressing love. Maybe it was a word left unsaid, a gesture not made, a risk not taken. Now think about a time when you regretted expressing love. Which list is longer? Which regrets weigh heavier? Most of us find that we regret the love we didn't give far more than the love we did. The beautiful paradox of love is the more you give it away, the more you have. The more you share it, the stronger it grows. The more you risk it, the more it protects you, not from pain, but from the kind of regret that comes from never having dared to live fully. Each of us has a choice to make, not once, but over and over. Will we let our fears write our story, or will we pick up the pen ourselves and write a story of love? Will we stay safe within the familiar confines of our fears, or will we step into the vast, uncertain, magnificent territory of love? What if the greatest risk isn't in loving too much, but in loving too little? What if, at the end of our lives, we look back and realize that our fears kept us from the very experiences that would have made our lives meaningful? Imagine your heart as a house. Fear wants you to lock all the doors, close all the windows, draw all the curtains. It wants you to live in one small, safe room of that house. But what about all the other rooms? What about the light that could stream through those windows? What about the fresh air that could fill those spaces? What about the people who could fill those rooms with laughter, with stories, with life? Your capacity for love isn't measured by how well you can avoid pain. It's measured by how well you can maintain your openness even when pain is possible. It's like being a photographer. You don't create beautiful images by keeping your lens capped. You create them by being willing to risk exposure. Every person you meet is a chapter in your story. Fear wants you to skim these chapters, to read them with one eye closed, to rush through to the seemingly safer parts. But love wants you to read every word. to underline the beautiful parts, to dog-ear the pages that teach you something, to write notes in the margins. You might think you're protecting yourself by holding back love, by keeping people at arm's length, by maintaining your emotional walls. But here's the truth. Those walls don't just keep pain out, they keep your life out, they keep your growth out, they keep your destiny out. Every great story of love began with someone choosing courage over comfort. Every meaningful connection started with someone deciding that the possibility of love was worth the risk of pain. Every lasting relationship bloomed because two people kept choosing each other even when fear suggested otherwise. Your fear speaks to you of past hurts, of potential pain, of possible rejection. But what if those weren't warnings? What if they were testimonies to your resilience? Every heartbreak you've survived, every disappointment you've overcome, every loss you've endured, these aren't reasons to stop loving. They're proof that you can love again. Think about the night sky. We only see the stars because we're willing to look up into the darkness. If we kept our eyes fixed on the ground afraid of the dark, we'd miss all that beauty. That's what happens when we let fear stop us from love. We miss the stars. Love isn't just about romantic relationships. It's about how you move through the world. It's about how you handle the cashier having a bad day. It's about how you respond to your own mistakes. It's about how you treat people who can't do anything for you. It's about the energy you bring into every room you enter. Your fear will tell you that you need to protect your heart. But your heart doesn't need protection. It needs freedom. Freedom to expand, to connect, to grow. Your heart is not a fragile thing to be hidden away. It's a powerful force meant to be shared. Have you noticed how fear always speaks in absolutes? Never again. Always alone. No one understands. But love speaks in possibilities. Maybe. What if? Why not? Which voice have you been listening to? Every time you choose love over fear, you're not just changing your own life, you're changing the world around you, because love, unlike fear, is contagious. When you choose to love despite your fears, you give others permission to do the same. Think of love as a language. The more you speak it, the more fluid you become, the more you practice it, the more natural it feels. But if you let fear keep you silent, you never develop that fluency. You never experience the full richness of what could be said, what could be shared, what could be created. Your past experiences with love are like a garden you've tended before. Maybe some plants didn't survive. Maybe some seasons were harder than others. But does that mean you should never plant another garden? Or does it mean you've learned valuable lessons about what needs sun and what needs shade, what needs more water and what needs less? Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready for love until you've healed completely from past hurts. But that's like saying you can't walk until all your previous bruises have faded. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens through connection. It happens through love. The choice between fear and love isn't made once. It's made moment by moment, day by day, situation by situation. And each time you choose love, you make the next choice a little easier. Each time you choose courage over comfort, you build evidence for your own strength. What if the purpose of life isn't to avoid getting hurt? What if it's to become so resilient, so full of love? That hurt becomes just another part of your story rather than the end of it. What if every heartbreak has been preparing you not to avoid love, but to love more deeply? Your fear tells you stories about why love is dangerous, but what stories does love tell you? What possibilities does love see that fear is blind to? What adventures does love invite you to that fear would have you miss? The most powerful choice you can make is to love anyway, despite the uncertainty, despite the risk, despite the voice of fear telling you to hold back. Because here's the truth. You can't wait until the fear is gone to choose. You have to choose love while the fear is still there. Every moment of fear is actually an invitation to love more deeply. Every time your heart races, every time you feel that urge to pull back, to close up, to protect yourself, that's not a signal to retreat. It's a challenge to advance, to open wider, to love more courageously. Think about water for a moment. When it's afraid, it freezes. When it's free, it flows. When it's stagnant, it becomes stale. But when it moves, when it dances, when it flows freely, that's when it's most powerful, most life-giving, Your love is meant to be like that water. Flowing, moving, life-giving. You've been carrying around the weight of old fears like a heavy backpack on a long journey. Isn't it time to set it down, not because the journey is over, but because you're ready to travel lighter, because you're ready to transform that weight into wings? The greatest irony about fear of love is that it doesn't actually protect us from anything. It just keeps us from everything. It's like an umbrella that blocks not just the rain, but also the sunshine, the stars, the entire sky. Is that really protection? Or is it imprisonment? Your heart knows how to love. It's been doing it since your first breath. Fear didn't teach you how to love. It taught you how to hesitate, how to doubt, how to question. But beneath all that learned fear, your natural state is love. Just like a river's natural state is to flow. What if every relationship that didn't last wasn't a failure of love, but a success of growth? What if every heart that's been broken wasn't destroyed but expanded? What if every tear you've cried hasn't been washing away your capacity for love, but watering the seeds of your wisdom? The world needs your love, not your perfect, polished, fearless love, your real love, your messy, human, sometimes trembling, but still brave love. Your I am scared, but I'm doing it anyway love. Your this might hurt, but it's worth it love. Fear sees love as a finite resource to be conserved. Love knows itself to be infinite, expanding with every breath, growing with every heartbeat. Fear says, what if you run out? Love says, how can I give more? You might be waiting for someone to prove they deserve your love before you give it. But love isn't a reward for good behavior. It's a gift that transforms both the giver and the receiver. The more freely you give it, the more it grows. Every moment you choose love over fear is a victory. Not just for you, but for everyone whose life you touch. Because when you choose love, you create a ripple effect that goes far beyond what you can see. Your courage becomes someone else's inspiration. Your openness becomes someone else's permission to be vulnerable.
Your fear will tell you that you need to know the ending before you begin. But love knows that the most beautiful stories are the ones that surprise us, the ones that take us places we never thought we'd go, the ones that transform us in ways we never imagined possible.
Look at your life right now. Look at all the places where fear has built walls, where doubt has dug trenches, where past hurts have created no-go zones in your heart. Now imagine those walls becoming windows, those trenches becoming gardens, those no-go zones becoming the very places where love blooms most beautifully. The time for love is not when you feel ready, not when you feel secure, not when you feel certain. The time for love is now, right now, in this breath, in this moment, with this person, in this situation. Love doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. Your capacity for love is not diminished by the times you've been hurt. It's not reduced by the relationships that didn't last. It's not weakened by the hearts that didn't handle yours with care. If anything, it's enlarged by all of these experiences. Because every time you've been hurt and survived, you've proven that your heart is stronger than your fears would have you believe. The question isn't whether you're ready for love. The question is whether you're ready to stop letting fear make your choices for you. Whether you're ready to stop living in the shadow of what might go wrong and step into the light of what might go gloriously, magnificently right. This is your moment, right here, right now. This is your invitation to choose love over fear. Not once and for all, that's not how it works, but right now in this moment, and then in the next moment, and the next. Every great love story begins with someone choosing to love, despite their fears. Every meaningful connection starts with someone deciding that the possibility of love is worth the risk of pain. Every lasting relationship blossoms because two people keep choosing each other, even when fear suggests otherwise. Your heart is ready. It's always been ready. It's your fear that's been holding you back, but fear is not your master unless you allow it to be. You can acknowledge your fear, thank it for trying to protect you, and still choose. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your invitation to step out of the shadow of fear and into the light of love, to transform your walls into bridges, to turn your scars into constellations that light the way for others. Love is not waiting for you to be perfect. It's not waiting for you to be healed. It's not waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to be brave. Brave enough to say yes when fear whispers no. Brave enough to stay open when everything within you wants to close. Brave enough to believe that you are worthy of love, not because you've earned it, but because you are alive. The world is waiting for your love, not your perfect love, not your fearless love, your real love, your authentic love, your You're sometimes trembling but still showing up love. You're this scares me but I'm doing it anyway love. This is your story. This is your life. This is your chance to choose love over fear. Not tomorrow. Not when you're ready. Not when it feels safe. Because in the end, we regret only the love we didn't give, the chances we didn't take, the hearts we didn't open. In the end, love is the only thing that's real, the only thing that lasts, the only thing that matters. Choose love. Choose it now. Choose it always. Let that be your legacy. Let that be your gift to the world. Let that be your revolution.